My name is Alistair Crumpton, and you are not immune to propaganda. I know what some of you are thinking is that, no, I am. But that is very not true. What it depends on is your worldview. So, how to understand propaganda is that it limits your worldview. So what is your worldview? Your worldview is made up of all of the information that you experience. So all of your consolidated experiences, everything you learn from your parents, from your community, from your school, from the internet, from books, all of that becomes your worldview. But let's say that I am a king and you are all my peasants, and I want you to know some things, but I don't want you to know certain things. So let's say I want to build my super yacht with your taxes. So I want to tax all the people out, but you guys are going to want to overthrow me, so I don't want you to do that. So what I'm going to do is make you think that taxes are good, and taxes, and only my system works. No other system works, and it's human nature for me to tax you. So what I'm going to do is blind you. I'm going to limit your worldview by not letting you have certain information. So that's kind of basically how propaganda works, is that it limits you, it blinds you. So, and this reminds me of this quote by Dostoevsky. The best way to keep a prisoner from escaping is to make sure that he never knows he's in prison. So what is propaganda? Propaganda is information, especially with biased, misleading nature, or to promote or publicize a particular point of view. So this can be through posters, through TV, through news, through books, radio. Any kind of media is propaganda. I know most people think, when they think propaganda, you think of like, oh, what, World War II posters. That's not really a thing anymore. But everything you experience is propaganda. Any kind of media with any kind of political messaging is propaganda. So there's also all sorts of things that you can use to disseminate this propaganda. Anything I used to give you. Again, newspapers, books, news channels are a very big thing. Or whole organizations, radio, art, movies, and TV. To understand this, there's a model developed by Harold Laswell and Noam Chomsky to kind of understand how to view propaganda and how to see around it, how to take off your blindfolds. And that is who sees what, to whom, and to what effect. So if I'm the king and I'm telling you the taxes are good, you want to say, well, what's my end game? Why? How does that benefit me? Who does this benefit if I say taxes are good? It benefits me, right? I want to build my yacht and I want to take your money. It does not benefit you in any sort of way. And to understand this, there's also, to recognize propaganda, there's also a couple of tropes. This includes appeals to nationalism or patriotism. So yes, we are the kingdom of Alistair. You are Alistairs. Pay taxes. It makes you feel like, oh, I'm part of this bigger group, this greater group. Another thing is idealized figures. So if I start portraying you, the Alistairs, as in like big muscles and strong, because there's my strong people who pay my taxes and build my super yacht. Another thing is personification. So a lot of countries in the propaganda use their country as a person, like Uncle Sam, like Mother Russia, things like that. They turn their country into like a person. The next thing would be like a call to action. So like, come join my army and pay my taxes. That makes you, yes, again, yes, please pay my taxes. Another big thing is dehumanization. So that other kingdom over there that is giving you healthcare or something, they're not real people. So pay taxes, they're not real people. Another big thing is, big trope of propaganda is simianization, which is comparing the other people to monkeys, which is a whole other thing. Another type of trope is on protection of women. So if I say, this other kingdom is going to hurt our women, it's another that gives the men of the country a big riled up. It's a very massive trope. So in some examples, so this is some pro-war propaganda. Great. So here we have, we've seen these first two. These are both examples of call to action. Personification, there's Uncle Sam. Yes, join the army. We also have this part from World War I. Destroy this matter. We have this this monkey in a German helmet. This is another of dehumanization and dehumanization. And it's also attacking our women. which I think is interesting. It's also an enlist, so it's join the army and protect people. Here's some example. Britain. So you know, pro-war of like, oh yes, this other kingdom. This is the good kingdom because they're helping us. Another pro-war. They copied Uncle Sam, which I thought was pretty funny. Another thing. And these are some examples of Nazi propaganda. Here's some idealization, so portraying as people as like, oh, you're the worker, you're big and strong. And they're kind of nationalism, like, yes, a whole bunch of group of people is joining with you. You're not alone in this. This is the right option. Follow the herd. Next. But propaganda isn't really all bad thing. It's been used to do some pretty good things. Like there's a massive alcohol problem in the USSR in the 60s. It still is a big problem. So big thing. It's niet. That's no. Like saying no to alcohol. Smash alcohol. It's a really interesting one. It's like, oh, you're turning you into a bad person. It's kind of Jekyll Hyde. I really like this one. I think it says you're just cutting away from your family. I think it's very creative. Seller of alcoholism. Yes, all the same video. So it can have a positive impact, and it's actually under Khrushchev, it's really benefited Russian nationalism. We're Russian. We're against this. And so using these techniques, especially the who made what, for whom, and to what effect, I want you guys to think of which country made this poster. Now let's consider who's saying it, what is being said, who's being said to, and for what effect. I've already guessed this on who made this poster, what country.
Russia.
You can tell it from the serial. But it says, Uncle Sam for all time, which is kind of like, oh, it's a commentary on racism in America from the Soviet Union. So yeah, this is kind of an example of why propaganda isn't really an all bad thing. It can be used to say something. And yeah, it's definitely very graphic. Again, with some examples of dehumanization. So this is kind of a very hard thing. Yeah, that's, this is from World War II. It's a portrayal of a Japanese soldier. You also have, you can see it, there's a swastika painting from his back pocket. It says, good material for scrap, help with sharing, thanks for Nazi story. So yeah, they're not really portraying Japanese people in a very kind way. This is from World War II, and this is from 1937, portrayal of Jewish people. Again, not portraying the other kingdom as an enemy, someone who's willing to harm us. And then there's something, you see this one, another portrayal of Jewish people, which is another example of Simonization. And we have more. So exactly, we have this scary Japanese man who is kidnapping our women, but buy war bonds, pay taxes, do that. You're not really thinking about, this just riles you up. And it's, oh yes, but I have to do something. So I am in danger, my women are in danger, which is the whole for sex kind of thing. Again, socialism, our women are in danger. This is a personification of Britain, so Britain is in danger, our country's in danger. But I think it's also interesting because Britain isn't usually personified as a woman, but only when she's being attacked. It's a woman. I think that's interesting. This is an example of modern propaganda. I don't think you can see, but this is the IDF, and this was a tweet that was posted a few weeks ago by an Israeli politician, and it's depicting Palestinians as a cockroach that to be crushed by the IDF. So this isn't a new thing. This has been going on for so long, and it still happens to this day. Oh, well, so propaganda is like another example of how propaganda is used in a new way. So since the rise of TV, we have like shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is like, oh yes, come watch the show. The police are relatable. They're your friends, but then they're really viewed. Don't look at that. Don't ignore that. Think of Captain Holt. Think of, oh no, think of, you see her. No, that's not, don't look at that. think of Captain Holt. And it's kind of like, oh, if you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it's like, this is not how the police act in real life, like, at all. Another example is how art has been used. So, example here, we saw this in DC last year. This is like a massive statue of George Washington. George Washington as like a Greek muscled man is not an accurate depiction of it. But it kind of goes into this idea of deifying our leaders. It's like, you see this with Lenin and Stalin, is that our leaders, our country are so great and that nothing's wrong, and that we kind of ignore the fact that he was really big on slavery. Like we kind of like, oh no, look at the messes. Another big thing, many of you know Frida Kahlo, big huge expanse. You see lots of pictures of her. She was actually like a mega communist. Like it was, she had a big affair with Leon Trotsky. She cheated on her husband with him. She was like one of the big communist leaders. There's also him. She cheated on Leon Trotsky with Stalin, and that's a whole other crazy affair. It's like a crazy thing. So, but no, that's her with Stalin. She did Portugal. And it's like, oh, there's her with Karl Marx. She was really into this. It's like, oh, maybe those are some guys. Like, no, she was really into this. And it kind of goes into saying like how art is used. It's like, there's a quote from George Orwell, who, you shouldn't ever quote George Orwell, but I think it's really important to say this. He says, all art is propaganda, but not all propaganda is art. And so we see all this dehumanization and stuff like that. That's obviously not art, but like you can see this, you can see like, yeah, I can see that this is, I would call this art. It's still propaganda, but it's also art. Another big thing with propaganda is how it's been used mightily is through organizations. So, organizations that have been openly founded by the CIA, like Radio Free Asia, Radio Free Europe. Radio Free Asia is where we get a lot of news about North Korea. So when you're learning about North Korea, you probably should remember this model by Chomsky and Maxwell. It's who's making it, who's for who, and for what effect. And here's an example, like this is like not conspiracy, like they admit this. Like, if you Google CIA, Radio Free Asia, it's like they're like online because of the Free Information Act. You can see this. This isn't like a made-up thing. And we have a video here from John Stockwell and ex-CIA agent just talking about this.
One would think that if you obtained information that was based upon fact, and if that is so, what did you do with it? Well, one of the four principal functions of the CIA is to gather intelligence and ideally forward it to the president who uses it. Policymakers, as I said. Other functions, however, some of them more legitimate than others. One is to run secret wars, the covert action that's written and talked about so much, like what's happening in Nicaragua today from Honduras. Another thing is to disseminate propaganda to influence people's minds, and this is a major function of the CIA. And unfortunately, of course, it overlaps into the gathering of information. You have contact with a journalist, you will give him true stories, you will get information from him, you'll also give him false stories. And you buy his confidence with truth.
So like, now you know this. It's like, you understand that you have been influenced with every kind of media. So then, now what? You can just sit there. All this information is completely useless if you just sit there. So it's on you now. You have to do something about this.